What's happening, people? It's Bobby here. We are back again with another video. It's been quite a while since I last uploaded a proper video, probably about 10 months to be precise. There has been a few videos gone up, but they were more just personal memories for my own benefit more than anything. But this one is the first proper video where I'm going to put a little bit of effort into it and hopefully bring you a nice entertaining video for you to enjoy. Now, the reason I've been absent for so long is because I've been going through the very arduous process of getting the relevant paperwork documentation I need to live and reside in Italy. The reason behind that is I have been offered a job with Italjet, the makers of this amazing machine. Those of you that know me will know I've been involved with the Dragster since about 2018, albeit working remotely from the UK. And I was completely over the moon when Massimo from Italjet offered me the chance to come to Italy and work directly for Italjet HQ, focusing on Italjet and their many wonderful projects they have in the pipeline. So I thought today we would do a nice straightforward video where we will get on the Dragster and go for a little ride around this beautiful city that is Imola. And there's one particular place I want to show you, which is literally just across the road from my apartment. I feel incredibly privileged to live so close to such an iconic place. I won't say just yet, some of you probably already know. If you're familiar with the area, you probably know what I'm talking about, but we'll head over there shortly. What can you expect from the channel in the future? Well, obviously there's going to be lots of Italjet content. We're going to be discussing all the accessories you can buy for these, the performance tuning, the dress-up items, some how-to videos and comparing standard performance to rated performance, things like that. So there's going to be lots of content regarding these. Obviously going into detail on the new models that are coming out. Some I can talk about, some I can't. Some of you will already know about the 500, the Dragster 500 that's coming out, so we'll be discussing that in some detail as well. But also, I'm very lucky in the area that we're in. It's part of what's known as the Motor Valley in Italy. We have some amazing sites to go and see: the Ducati factory, the Lamborghini factory, the Ferrari factory, MV Agusta by Motor, plenty of others. So there'll be some great content coming out in regards to that as well. So that's what you can look forward to in the channel going forward. So if that sounds like it appeals to you, don't forget to bike and subscribe. See what I did there? Bike and subscribe, like and subscribe. Before I mix it up a little bit. If that's not worth a subscription, I don't know what it is. So yeah, bike and subscribe. You know, it makes sense. Let's crack on. Let's get on the bike and get out round Imola. Okay, so we are going to head across the road to this iconic place that I feel so privileged to live so close to. So I can give you an idea of just how close I live to this place. I won't do any cuts or anything like that in the video. We'll just leave it running so you can see just how close it really is. Once we've been there, we'll have a little discussion about some exclusive Italjet updates, some news about the 500 and a few other models that I can very loosely discuss. So let's crack on. Let's head across to this amazing place. I apologise in advance about the audio quality on this microphone. It's the first time I've used it, so I don't know how good it is, if we're going to get any wind noise or anything along those lines, but hopefully it's alright. And I would also like to say in advance to those eagle-eyed amongst you, please no comments about the fact that I'm not really wearing any proper riding gear. It's currently hotter than Satan's ballsack in Italy.
which I know isn't really an excuse. A lot of you will say, oh, your skin's more important, but I'm not planning on riding fast. I'm going to be going no quicker than someone on a bicycle, and people on bicycles never get grief about not wearing the right gear, so please hold your mouth in regards to that. If I ever go anywhere where I'm going to be putting any real speed in, you'll see that I do wear proper riding gear. And one thing you'll note in Italy, as the old saying goes, right, I want to go this way actually, pressed the wrong button there. One thing you'll note about Italy is that most people don't ride in full gear, especially in the summertime. So yeah, the old saying, when in Rome. I'm going to be hypocritical here because there's two bikers coming across, looks like they're both wearing full gear, but they are on much bigger machines than I have, and I'm sure they're going to be hitting the highway and going quite quickly. But all the scooterists in Italy very rarely wear any gear at all. In fact, there's a chap here next to me wearing nothing more than a t-shirt and shorts, as you see. When in Rome, when in Rome. Okay, so this is the main entrance to what I have been telling you about. Some of you would have spotted already what it is. Look at that wonderful piece of artwork there. This is Imola racetrack, and my apartment, as you know, is literally just over the way there. So yeah, it's a very special place to live near. It's one of the reasons the rent is quite cheap in my apartment, is because obviously the noise that comes from this place is, in my opinion, fantastic, but to a lot of people would be somewhat of an annoyance. So yeah, there's the main entrance when it's open to the famous racetrack, host to Formula 1, MotoGP, all that sort of business. But this is, like I say, not the entrance I want to take you to. The entrance that I'm going to is just down the road here, and it has something quite special that I want to share with you. But before we do that, let's pull over just here and get a few snaps of the Dragster next to this fantastic street art. Look at that, we've got good old Enzo there, bit of Ducati, chap in a helmet. Lovely, lovely. Oh, that exhaust does sound nice. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful. Very privileged to live here, as I say. I often have a little joke with my mother, because she loves waking up in the morning to the sound of birds singing in the trees, and I quite often wake up in the morning to the sound of a very different kind of bird tearing around the racetrack. As I say, I absolutely love it, especially when there's a big event on. It's just a shame you can't quite see the track from my apartment, but you can most definitely hear it, and you get some fabulous sounds coming there. So it's quite quiet in Imola at the moment. August is the Italian holiday period, and this isn't the sort of city where a lot of Italians come for their holiday break. So a lot of the residents here, they go off either abroad or down south, the Puglia, Vieste, to spend their summer break. So it's a good time to get out and explore, because otherwise Imola can be quite a busy little town. So this is heading towards the other entrance to Imola. Some beautiful little villas around here as well. Not sure how they feel about living so close to a racetrack, but I have a feeling the racetrack predates most of these homes, so if you live in one of these and complain about the racetrack, you need to have a word with yourself really, because you shouldn't have moved here in the first place. So the area we're heading to now is a little park which is actually in the centre of the racetrack. Somewhat unusual for there to be a large green park in the middle of a racetrack, not something you'd find in the UK really. But I believe Imola is one of the largest racetracks in Italy, so I suppose they had to do something with all the space in the middle of it. And yeah, they chose to put a park in there. So this racetrack as well is where the Dragster was developed and tested. Massimo and the rest of the team are friends with the people that run the racetrack, and much of the testing before the production model hit shops was done at this racetrack. So yeah, very unusual for a scooter to be born on a racetrack. But then again, the Dragster isn't your ordinary scooter. Far from it, in fact. A lot of the press have coined it the Lamborghini of the scooter world, which is quite true, to be fair. So because this park is in the centre of the racetrack, we do have to go over a few bridges. River's looking a little bit dry at the moment. Been a very hot summer in Italy this year. Temperatures exceeding 40 degrees at some point, so it's took its toll on the river. I wouldn't mind trying to kayak down there at some point, to be fair. I'm not sure if it's a very clean river or not, with it being a city-based river, but we shall find out. Okay, so this section just here is one of the stands. If I was more of a aficionado, I'd be able to tell you which corner that is. But yeah, there's the track itself. Don't know if you can see very well with me standing up here, so you can see it, but yeah, it's a very well kept racetrack, very well pruned. It's actually somewhat like a racetrack. Getting to the racetrack, there's some lovely turns. If I was wearing better gear, I'd try and put a bit more of a show on, but as I say, I know a lot of you will be moaning about my lack of gear, but I am taking it very slowly. All that exhaust sounds lovely in a tunnel. You've got to give a bit of exhaust tunnel, ain't you? It's got to be done. Or tunnel exhaust, whichever way you want to say it. Okay, little funny fact for you. This road leading up to the park where we're heading to is called JF Kennedy Road, something along those lines. Not sure exactly why. Or the history behind it, but obviously the Italians have some sort of admiration for JF Kennedy. Perhaps it's because he was a bit of a playboy. The Italians do like a playboy, don't they? So yeah, that's where we're heading. So let's park the bike up, hope it doesn't get stolen, and head into the park.
So this is the park right in the centre of Imola racetrack. A little map over here so you can get a better idea. So let's have a look. Whereabouts are we? So we're just sort of up here, and this whole park, like I say, bang in the centre of the racetrack. Literally just over there through those bushes is the track. You probably get a better picture of it if I just hop through these bushes over here. So that's literally how close we are to the track from this park. So I would have thought that during race days, definitely the big race days like Formula 1 and MotoGP, I'd imagine this park's probably closed, because otherwise you could just stand over at the bushes there and watch the race for free. But what I really want to show you here, something very special, something a little bit emotional, quite touching, and to get the full effect of it, I'm going to get my ugly mug off the camera and turn the camera around so you can get a better look of what it is. So here we have a very special monument to a very special person, the man, the myth and the legend that is Ayrton Senna. Now the reason this tribute is where it is because literally just over this fence here is the exact area on the track where Senna unfortunately had his accident. The track has somewhat changed these days. It's not exactly the same as it was all those years ago, but this is still the location, or closest to the location, where that unfortunate accident happened all those years ago. So I hope you enjoyed that. So it's actually quite an emotional place, to be fair, but he definitely left his mark on the world, was taken from us far too soon, but still considered by many to be one of the best race drivers in history. We'll have a little further stroll into the park. I've not had a full walk around here before. You never know, there might be something more interesting. A few less bushes here, you can get a slightly better look of the track. But hopefully when the track's open, as I say, we'll come back and we'll get some footage. I know towards the end of the month they have a big historic event where we have some historic race cars, historic motorcycles, so we'll try and attend that. As I say, my apartment is literally just across the way there. I can't actually see the track, unfortunately. Sometimes you can get a slight glimpse through the trees if you're lucky and the wind's blowing in a certain direction, but you can certainly hear it. And it's one of the reasons why the apartment I've got, the rent isn't massively huge, because obviously a lot of people don't want to hear the noise that a racetrack inevitably, did I get that right, inevitably makes. But for me, I love it. Yeah, I really love it. Hearing the sounds of Formula 1 cars and MotoGP bikes and all the historic vehicles that race here is actually quite a privilege. Okay, so let's head back to the bike, and as promised, I will give you some exclusive Italjet news and updates all about the new models that are coming out. Well, I can't tell you much about the new models that are coming out, but a few little hints. Some updates on the Dragster 500, a bit of news about the electric, but let's get back to the bike, get the helmet on, and we'll give you some juicy Italjet updates.
Okay, I hope you appreciated that. Quite an emotional place. But yeah, that guy was absolute legend, and it's nice to see that people have such admiration for him, even today, some 25 plus years since he died, probably more than that. Still very much held in very, very high regard. So a little stand up there's another part of the track. Look, I'd love to do some laps on the Dragster. Hopefully one day we'll get a chance to do that. Talking about laps on the Dragster, I hope you've all been tuning into the Molossi Racing Academy. There's been some amazing racing going on. Our own boy Mattia has been racing. He hasn't quite done as well as he'd hoped, but I still think he's put on a great... Hang on one sec. Sorry, I had to do that. Yeah, I still think he's put on a great performance. Quite often in racing, the people who are coming first, second, their performances are quite, what's the best way to say it, repetitive. So a lot of the time, some of the best racing you'll see is further down the grid, a lot more overtaking, chasing people down, things like that. And Mattia has put on some spectacular performances, so he should be proud of himself. Currently, the two sort of fighting for first place are a girl called Alice, who is ridiculously quick. I think she might be a robot, to be fair. God knows how she's so quick, but she is. She's a fantastic rider. and she is, I would say she's kind of in the lead at the moment, based on previous performances, but there is a chance that there is a YouTuber called, and forgive me if I'm saying this incorrectly, Davius or something along those names. I'll just call him Dave, shall we? So yeah, Dave is currently fighting for first place. No one knows Dave's face, to be fair. He always wears a mask, so yeah, perhaps one day you'll see a face reveal. But the last race is coming up very soon, so be sure to tune into the Trophy Molossi YouTube channel, where you can watch the racing live, and it's definitely worth doing, believe me. But I suppose we should talk about some of the developments going on at Italjet, and probably the reason a lot of you have tuned into this video. So we do have several new models in development, actually. Unfortunately, none of them I can tell you about, not the new models anyway, but I think you'll be quite surprised when you see them. It could be quite a while before anything is officially said about them yet, but there's one model I particularly like the look of. None of these new models are revisions of the Dragster. They are completely new models. One of them may have somewhat of the word Dragster in its title, but it is nothing like the Dragster that we're riding now. So yeah, there's a couple of models there that you'll be excited to see. Obviously one model, or should I say two models, that everyone has heard about by now, or everyone that's interested in Italjet and have been watching what's going on will be aware of the Dragster 300 and the Dragster 500. I have actually ridden both of them already, and yeah, both are amazing machines. We'll start by having a little chat about the Dragster 300. Let me just correct my sat nav here. Bosh, let's head there. Okay, so we were saying, yes, the Dragster 300 and the Dragster 500. We'll start by having a little chat about the 300. We were hoping that the 300 would be in dealers right about now, but we have faced some delays, unfortunately. So it's hard to say exactly when you're going to see that one, but I would hazard a guess it's going to be either towards the end of the year or early next year. Like I say, I have ridden it, and it is a fantastic machine. Performance-wise, in all honesty, we're not talking massively amount faster than the 200. Don't get me wrong, it is quicker, but where it really stands out is those of you that want to do your longer journeys and hit motorways and dual carriageways for long periods of time. The 300 just has a bit more torque, so it's going to be more at home on those long trips. Now, I will address one point that I've heard a few people slightly grumbling about, saying, "Oh, I wouldn't have bought a 200 if I'd known there was a 300 coming out." And I'll address that in two parts. One, as a manufacturer, we have to keep evolving. We have to keep bringing out new models, new engines, otherwise we simply wouldn't survive. So yeah, it's just the nature of the beast, unfortunately. And secondly, I wouldn't be overly concerned between the 200 and 300 if you already own a 200. One reason being, the Dragsters do tend to hold their value pretty well, so if you do choose to sell and buy a 300, you should still get a decent amount of change back for your 200. And the second point being, by the time you've added all the Molossi parts to the Dragster 200, the cylinder, the transmission kit, the Force Master, then the 200 is just as fast, if not faster, than a stock 300. And I know some of you will argue the point that, yeah, but I could tune my 300. It's true, you could tune your 300, but like I say, I wouldn't be overly concerned if you already are a 200 owner. There's plenty of things you can do to keep the pace there and keep yourself happy. So the 500, what's happening with the Dragster 500? Well, we kind of broke the internet when the Dragster 500 came out. literally, I was working at EICMA when we unveiled it, and obviously part of my job is I control all the social media and whatnot, and seeing the amount of posts that people were making and the tags, and you know, he was getting tagged in posts of people saying, wow, look at this machine. It was phenomenal. The Dragster 500 really did get a tremendous welcome. So pretty much what you saw at EICMA the previous year is as you're going to see the production model. We have made a few tweaks. Namely, the biggest tweak is in the engine department. When we first announced the 500, it was going to be a 500cc or just below single cylinder engine. We've now changed that engine. In fact, we changed it twice. There was one mention in Scootering magazine in the UK of a new engine, which was a twin, and we've since then decided to change from that engine yet again, still to a twin cylinder, still a twin engine, but now it's going to be, I believe, about 560cc twin engine with significantly more power than the previous engines that we had mentioned. So yeah, huge improvements in the powertrain for the Dragster 500. A lot of you will be aware that the Dragster 500 is having a 6-speed motorcycle transmission, which some people are keen on. There are a few people sort of essentially begging us to make a big CVT engine, something akin to the T-Max, but we don't like trying to compete with people at Italjet. We like trying to be different, hence why we put the motorcycle transmission on there. Full 6-speed foot operated motorcycle transmission. But we are playing with a little idea to make the Dragster more accessible to those that are not keen on gears or a little bit scared of gears. I can't say exactly what it is we're toying with, but it will make the bike more accessible to those that are more used to automatics. It won't be a standard feature. It will be something we're looking to add as an optional extra. So yeah, that's that. And styling wise, it remains very similar. I'm not going to spoil it and tell you exactly what's changed, but the nose cone has had some slight revisions, so that's looking better in my opinion. And the biggest changes are on the rear end. The tailpiece of the Dragster has kind of been, I wouldn't say completely reworked, but significantly reworked, and yeah, that looks absolutely stunning. Look at that, so that's a Imola castle just there. Very beautiful old castle. So yeah, that's the 500 for you. You'll have to wait and see at EICMA this year for the full details of exactly the revisions we're making, but I think you're going to like it. Some other Italjet news that I can only very briefly discuss with you because it's all very top secret, so I won't be giving much away at all. I do apologise. But yeah, the new models we have in production, one of them is a very top secret project that is essentially is a Dragster but has some very funky engine technology going down, but that may not even see the light of day yet. That is simply just a test bed that we're playing with an idea on. The other two models that I briefly discussed earlier, like I say, you'll have to wait and see those. But yeah, there's some interesting things coming from Italjet. One of the items that some people may be disappointed in is the electric Dragster. We have decided to shelve the electric Dragster, so we won't be producing electric Dragster anymore. We are still looking to produce an electric, but we've decided instead of just shoehorning an electric powertrain into a Dragster frame, we want to make something that is bespoke, a very unique Italjet model that won't be called the Dragster. It will have its own identity. So yeah, that should be being announced in several months' time. You'll see what we're doing in the electric field. Unfortunately, the way the market's going, whether you like electric or not, we do have to keep on trend. And I'll be honest with you, I'm still an internal combustion fan myself. Having said that, I am impressed with what electrics are capable of. I recently rode one of the prototypes at the workshop, and it goes phenomenally well. The acceleration on it is brutal. It's probably better than the equivalent internal combustion, but perhaps it's a bit childish of me, but I just like knowing there's explosions going on between your legs. You know, there's something about internal combustion, knowing there's mechanical parts moving around, things like that. So yeah, as I say, what can you expect to see from the channel in coming months? Well, big changes for me, obviously. I'm in a whole new country, whole new city. So, but that in itself brings rise to plenty of opportunities for some good content. So you can keep your eyes peeled for that. What's this guy doing? So yeah, stay tuned to the channel. This was quite a brief video. It's more of an introductory video, should we say, just to say that I'm back and I'll be making some new content now. That's my local cafe. By day it is a place you pop in for a coffee and a chat, and later in the evening it gets quite lively. Is the gate open? It is indeed. Squeeze through here. There you go. So yeah, please do like and subscribe. Remember, you heard that here first. If anyone copies me, that is my official catchphrase: like and subscribe, for more great content. I will see you again very soon. Just before we go, that looks like quite a fruity little Aerox over there. Yeah. Aerox is really popular in Italy, actually. Not sure exactly why. You'd think they would be fans of Italian brands, but they do love an Aerox. One of the most popular 50cc's in Italy. I mean, let's face it, that's very unlikely to still be a 50cc. It's more than likely a 70, you know, Malossi kit, stage 6 kit, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, so that is the end of this one. Thank you for watching. If you watched all the way to the end here, do drop a like on the video, leave a comment down below. I do love reading your comments and I'll always get back to you. And yeah, like and subscribe. See you on the flip side.